Hmm. Welcome to all of you, Shiksha 360. And today, basically, we will discuss chapter number 3, part 2. Clear? Chapter number 3, part 2. In the previous session, basically, we have discussed some important points regarding the section number 21, section 35A, section 36, section 26, and some discussion regarding the nomination. Clear? So now let's start. Nomination. Clear? Under the nomination, basically, we have discussed basically under which section basically we have to nominate basically in the deposit account. That is basically section 45ZA. Clear? Section 45ZA. So repayment of deposits. Clear? That is repayment of deposits. Clear? So section 45ZA of the Banking Regulation Act. Clear? Section 45ZA of the Banking Regulation Act provides that a depositor. Clear? That a depositor or depositors of a banking company. Clear? Section 45ZA of the Banking Regulation Act provides that a depositor or depositors of a banking company, including cooperative banks, may nominate one person. Clear? Basically, may nominate one person in the prescribed manner. Clear? Basically, may nominate one person in the prescribed manner as nominee to whom the deposit may be returned in the event of the death of the sole depositor or depositors. Clear? So basically, just you have to understand one thing. Basically, in the in the deposit accounts, deposit account we can say that, or in the simple saving account, till now only one nominee is basically we have a point, or we can fill. Clear? Only one nominee is to be filled in the account. Clear? Only one nominee is to be filled in the account. Only one nominee basically is to be filled in the account. Okay. So but in the later time, clear? Basically, but in the upcoming time, basically we will expect at least 2 or 3 nominees. Clear? Basically, but in the upcoming time, basically we will expect at least 2 or 3 nominees basically in the deposit account. Clear? Or in the saving account. And now move to the next one. Articles in the safe custody and the safety locker. Clear? Directly 0.5 mark or 1 mark question. Clear? This is basically directly 0.5 mark or 1 mark question. That is basically articles in the safe custody or the safety locker. Okay. So just basically, first of all, basically we have to remember the articles. Clear? So first of all, basically safe custody. Under the safe custody, clear? Basically 45. Clear? 45, it is basically for the nomination. So here basically you will find the word C. Here you will find the word C. Clear? So 45Z C. 45ZC basically for the safe custody. Clear? Basically here we have C custody. Here we have C. And next one basically for the safety locker. For the safety locker. Clear? That is 45ZE. Clear? 45ZE. And for the nomination, that is 45ZA. Clear? ACE. Clear? You have to remember that. For the saving account, that is 45ZA basically for the saving account. 45ZC, that is basically for the safe custody. That is basically for the safety locker. Clear? That is basically for the safety locker. Clear? So articles in the safe custody and the safety lockers. Clear? So there are also provisions. Clear? There are also provisions in the Banking Regulation Act for the nomination. Clear? There are also provisions basically in the Banking Regulation Act basically for nomination in a respect of articles. Clear? Basically in a respect of articles kept in the safe custody basically with the banks and the safety lockers. Like section 45ZC and 45ZE provide that any person who leaves any article, clear? Basically provide that any person who leaves any article basically in the safe custody and in the safety locker respectively with the banking company may nominate one person as a nominee. Clear? Basically may nominate one person as a nominee to receive the article. Clear? Basically to receive the article in the event of death of that person. as a nominee basically to receive the article in the event of death of that person. Clear? Just you have to remember that 45ZC is basically for the safe custody and 45ZE basically for the safety lockers. Clear? And 45ZE basically for the safety locker. Clear? These types of question basically you will definitely find in any of the set. Clear? In any of the set basically in the examination basically these types of question basically you will definitely find. Now move to the next one. The nomination has to be in the prescribed manner and on return of articles kept in the safe custody or removal of contents of locker by the nominees as provided, the bank gets a valid discharge. Clear? The bank gets a valid discharge. Clear? Just you have to remember these different articles or different sections. Clear? And now basically next basically we have to understand a little bit of difference basically between the safe custody and the safety locker. Clear? Sometimes basically you just basically in the banking basically as you are a banker, so sometimes basically anyone basically will ask basically, so what is the difference between the safe custody and the safety locker? Clear? Journal I will tell you basically, like please tell fast also, like if you are giving a gold loan. Clear? Basically if you are giving a gold loan, clear, like your branch is basically authorized for the gold loan also. Clear? For the gold loan also. Clear? Basically those branches, clear, many of the branches, clear, basically of many banks, clear, where basically you will see that basically there is not double lock. Clear? Basically there is not double lock. Clear? There is a vault in that. Clear? But there is a not double lock. Clear? We can say that basically in many of the banks. Clear? Basically you will basically as per the RBI guidelines. Clear? So there is a double lock or there is a special security features. Clear? Basically for the gold loan. Clear? For the gold loan. Clear? So basically some specific branches are basically nominated for the gold loan. Clear? So basically any customer basically visited the bank. Clear? So where you will kept that gold? Clear? Please tell fast. Basically the gold of the customer basically where you will kept that? That is basically in the locker or that is basically in the vault. Clear? So that basically we can say that basically that is basically kept in the vault. Clear? Vault basically means that it is the in the safe custody of the bank. Clear? That is safe custody on the of the bank. Clear? Safe custody basically of the bank, that is basically means the banker will know. Clear? The banker will know basically what is kept in that specific custody. Clear? Basically what the bank has kept in their custody. Clear? But in the safety locker, clear, bank does not know. Clear? Basically bank does not know what the customer will kept in that. Clear? Basically what the customer basically will kept in that, the bank basically the banker will don't know. Clear? The banker has not any knowledge regarding that. Clear? Whatever the basically customer will kept in the locker. Clear? Basically in the locker. Okay, so this is the basic difference. Now basically we will discuss some other differences regarding that. So safe custody and the safety locker. Clear? Basically safe custody and the safety locker. Clear? So safe custody is keeping in the safe of the bank. Clear? Basically safe custody basically is keeping in the safe of the bank for which a receipt is issued. Clear? Basically for which a receipt is issued. And on surrender of the receipt. Clear? And on surrender of the receipt, you will get back the documents. Clear? Basically and on surrender of the receipt, you will get back the documents. Clear? Safe custody fees is payable. Clear? You have to pay the fees. Clear? It means that basically under the safe custody, basically the banker will know basically what the customer will kept here and they will also get a receipt. Clear? They will also get a receipt basically from the bank regarding the articles kept in the safe custody. Clear? Regarding the articles basically kept in the safe custody. Clear? So when a banker accepts the articles, clear, when a banker accepts the article basically for the safe custody, he becomes a bailee. Clear? This is very, very important, this terminology. Clear? When a banker basically accepts the article for the safe custody. Clear? Basically when a banker accepts the article basically for the safe custody, he becomes a bailee. Clear? He becomes a bailee. Clear? In the case of the safe custody, please remember that in the case of the safe custody, banker bailee and the customer. This is 1 mark question. Clear? This type of question you will find in any of the sets. Clear? We have to cover these things basically in the PPB also. Clear? So when a banker basically accepts articles for the safe custody, he becomes a bailee. and his responsibilities and duties, clear, and his responsibilities and duties are governed by section 151 and 152 of the Indian Contract Act, clear. Later on, basically, we have to discuss the Indian Contract Act in detail also, clear. So basically, and his responsibilities and his duties basically are to be defined by the or to be governed by the Indian Contract Act, clear, are to be governed by the Indian Contract Act. Now further, what the section 151 and 152, clear. Section 151 lays down that the bailee or the banker, clear. Section 151 basically lays down that the bailee or the banker should take as much care of the goods bailed to him, clear. That the bailee or the banker basically should take as much care of the goods basically bailed to him as a man of ordinary prudence basically would take under the similar circumstances, clear. That the bank will take the full responsibility of the goods, clear. The bank will take the full responsibility of the goods, clear. Section 152, clear. Basically, this which section say that that's a section 151, clear. Further, section 152 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 provides that the bailee, in the absence of any special contract, clear. Basically, if there is not any special contract, like basically you are keeping some things, clear, that is need more care, clear. Basically, in the absence of any special contract, is not responsible for the loss, destruction, or deterioration of the thing bailed, clear. Section 152 of the Indian Contract Act 1872 provides that the bailee, in the absence of any special contract, is not responsible basically for the loss, destruction, or deterioration of the thing bailed if he has taken proper care, clear. If he has taken proper care to protect the things entrusted to him, clear. If he has taken basically proper care to protect the things basically entrusted to him, clear. Even after taking the proper care or basically fulfilling all the terms and conditions, if anything basically happens to the good, then the banker or the bailee is not responsible for that, clear. It is not responsible for that, okay. Further, in case of any negligence, clear. Basically, in case of any negligence on the part of the banker, clear. Basically, in case of any negligence on the part of the banker will have to compensate the bailer, clear. In case of any negligence, basically on the part of the banker will have or the banker will have to compensate the bailer if there is a loss and the bailer claims damages, clear. And if there is negligence, then the banker or the bailee basically is responsible for that, and they have to compensate for that loss, clear. And they have to compensate for that loss, clear. So in case of any negligence basically on the part of the banker will have to compensate the bailer if there is a loss and the bailer claims the damages, clear. And bailer claims the damages. On the other hand, clear, now basically we have discussed regarding the till now, that is safe custody. Under the safe custody, banker is the bailee and the customer is the bailer. Now next one, that is the safe deposit locker. So next one, that is a legal relationship, clear. The legal relationship between the banker and the customer, clear. The legal relationship basically between the banker and the customer in the case of the safe deposit locker is that of a lessor and a lessee, clear. The legal relationship between the banker and the customer in the case of the safe deposit locker is that of lessor and lessee, clear. Is that of lessor and lessee. The customer basically in the locker, basically what we have to pay basically at the starting, basically we have to pay the annual rent, clear. The customer has to pay the annual rent for the locker after the formalities is completed, clear. Basically after the formalities is completed, the banker will give him the key of the locker, clear. Basically after the formalities is completed, the banker basically will give him the key of the locker. So under the safe deposit locker, there is a provision for the nomination facility, clear. Presently basically there is also the provision of the nomination facility, clear. Nomination is very important, clear. Basically nomination is very important for all these types of things. So and the bank has no guarantee, clear. Very important point, please remember this one, clear. And the bank has no guarantee basically for the items kept in the locker in the case of theft or loss, clear. In the case of the theft or loss, basically the bank has not any guarantee for the items basically kept in locker in the case of the theft or loss, clear. So this is basically the safe deposit locker. So please tell fast. Now it is clear to all of you basically what is the difference between the safe custody and the safe deposit locker. Now move to the next one, that is loans and advances. Clear? Now next one, that is loans and advances. Clear? So the what is basically banking? Clear? So the act of banking basically in section 5B of the Banking Regulation Act, clear, of which act of the Banking Regulation Act basically indicates that the acceptance of deposits, clear, basically why there is acceptance of deposit. The acceptance of deposit basically may be for the lending or investment. Clear that the acceptance of deposit basically for the lending or for the investment. Clear that the acceptance of deposit basically may be for the lending or investment. So does lending or making of loans, clear? So does lending or making of loans and advances is a core business of a banking company, clear? So does lending or making of loans and advances, clear, of making of loans and advances, basically it is a core business of a banking company, clear? Lending. Further, basically lending may be done, clear? Basically lending may be done either for the short term or long term, clear? Lending may be done basically either for the short term or for the long term, on the secured or unsecured basis, and for the different purposes. Clear? That is basically bank will provide the loans for both short and long term. Clear? Basically for both short and long term. And for basically loans basically secured also, that is basically there is any security, and some loans are basically unsecured also. Clear? Some loans are basically unsecured also. Clear? Like basically one thing basically I will tell you, like in the PMEGP, Prime Minister basically Employment Guarantee Program. Clear? Prime Minister basically Employment Guarantee Program. Clear? So in that basically there are loans are given basically for the manufacturing sector. And just one question basically I am asking for all of you. What is the limit under that? Clear? Basically what is the limit for that? Clear? For the manufacturing sector, what is the limit? And for the service sector, basically what is the limit? Clear? For the service sector, what is the limit? And for the manufacturing sector, basically what is the limit for that? Earlier limit basically in the manufacturing sector, that is 25 lakh, and now basically it enhanced to what limit? Please tell fast. And earlier service limit basically for the service sector limit is 10 lakh. Now up to which amount basically it was enhanced? Clear? Now up to which amount basically it was enhanced? Clear? So you have to answer both these questions. Clear? You have to answer both this question. And just this is basically definitely you will find this type of question also 0.5 mark question. Basically under which section of the Banking Regulation Act? Clear? Basically under which section of the Banking Regulation Act? Basically that indicates the acceptance of deposits. Clear? The bank will accept deposits either for the lending or for the investment. Clear? Either for the lending or basically for the investment, that is under section 5B. Clear? Under section 5B. Now move to the next one. The Reserve Bank is empowered under section 21. Clear? The Reserve Bank basically is empowered under section 21 of the Banking Regulation Act to issue directions. Clear? The Reserve Bank is empowered under section 21 of the Banking Regulation Act basically to issue directions to control advances by the banking companies. Clear? Basically what? To control advances by the banking companies. Clear? So such directions, clear? Basically such direction basically may be issued to the banking company generally or to a particular any banking company. Clear? Depends upon the financial condition of the bank. But most of the cases basically the guidelines of the RBI basically it is generally basically applicable to all the banks. Clear? So the Reserve Bank basically may determine the policy basically in a relation to the advances and issue directions basically when it is satisfied that it is necessary to give directions. Clear? This question they have already asked in the examination. Clear? Basically when the Reserve Bank basically may give directions. Clear? Basically either it give direction basically that is in the case of the public interest or in the interest of depositors or in the interest of the banking policy. Clear? So basically RBI basically mainly issues guidelines basically in the three cases. Clear? First one basically in the case of the public interest or in the public interest. Second one basically in the interest of the depositors, or third one basically in the interest of the banking policy. Clear? Basically third case here, that is in the interest of the banking policy. Like you will see that basically continuously basically RBI basically increases the interest rate basically from the last 2 to 3 monetary policy. Like basically they have enhanced the interest rate basically in the March 2022 by 0.40. Repo rate that is increased by 0.40 later on basically in the June also. repo rate is increased by 0.50, clear. Now July is there is not by monthly monetary policy, basically in the August 2022, clear. You will see that, clear. Basically, I have checked basically at some places, basically in the newspaper, they are mentioning that again RBI basically will want to enhance the interest rate, clear. Basically to enhance the interest rate, basically we have to wait basically as per the policy, basically how much they will want, but at some places you will find that 0.35, clear. Basically they want to increase the repo rate basically further by 0.35, clear. So basically this will lead to increase in the interest rate basically by very large amount, clear. That is 0.9. If they will enhance by 0.35, clear, it will, if they will enhance by 0.35, so it will lead to the basically 1.25% interest rate rise, clear. So it will lead to the 1.25% interest rate rise, clear. So it will be a big rise in the interest rate, clear. Basically in the short span of 3 to 4 months, clear. So basically it will take, basically why RBI basically will increase this interest rate continuously, basically to control the inflation, to control the inflation. Okay, so you have to understand all these things, clear. You have to understand all these things, why basically everything basically it is going on these types of things. Next one basically, that is the selective credit control, clear. That is the selective credit control. This topic is to be left, which we have to cover in the next session, clear. Basically this topic is to be left, which we have to cover in the next session. Today basically I will discuss some another topic, that why basically selective credit control basically will take time. So basically we will discuss one short topic, that is Usurious Loans Act 1918, clear. Usurious Loans Act 1918, clear. So what is the meaning of that, clear? Basically you will find that basically in the earlier times, clear, that is basically we can say that money lenders in simple language we can say that shahukars. Basically money lenders basically will lend money basically at very high interest rate, clear, at very high interest rate, clear. If we can say that just for the taking example, that is basically if the interest rate is going 6% or 7%, so they will take 15 to 20% interest rate, clear. That is basically known as the Serious Loans Act 1918, clear. Or basically many private institutions also basically will take high interest rate, clear. So what this act helps us, clear. The Serious Loans Act 1918 basically prohibits lending at exorbitant rates, clear. Basically it prohibits lending basically at exorbitant rates, clear. That is basically at very high rates, clear. So the law has been made, clear. The law has been made to protect the weaker borrowers basically from the powerful money lenders, clear. The law has been made basically to protect the weaker borrowers from the powerful money lenders. Similarly, debt relief legislation basically in different states attempts to protect the agriculturists and other weaker sections basically from unscrupulous lenders by remitting debts or giving other concessions, clear. Basically by remitting debts or giving other concessions, clear. So basically debt relief legislation, clear. That is, we can say that basically simple language we can say that like debt relief, clear. That is this is the basically schemes started by the governments. Although the lending rates of banks, clear, basically are generally regulated by the Reserve Bank, clear. That is lending rate basically it is regulated by the Reserve Bank, that is basically at which rate basically we have to lend. So borrowers often used to resort to these laws basically for remitting loans and reducing rates of interest in respect of loans taken by them from the banks, clear. Accordingly, Section 21A was inserted in the Banking Regulation Act basically to make the rates of interest charged by the banking companies beyond the scrutiny of the courts, clear. Basically beyond the scrutiny of the courts, clear. Just you have to remember that basically Section 21A, clear, basically was inserted in the Banking Regulation Act basically for what? To make the rates of interest basically charged by the banking company basically that is basically beyond the scrutiny of the courts. Basically main basically authority basically regarding that it is the Reserve Bank of India, clear. Main authority basically regarding that it is the Reserve Bank of India, clear. Reserve Bank of India, that is R. Okay, so basically this is the overall discussion of our today's session. In this session, and this is basically Usurious Loans Act 1918. Just you have to remember that basically this act was made basically to protect the weaker sections or weaker borrowers basically from the powerful money lenders, clear. Basically from whom? From the powerful money lenders, clear. So this is Usurious Loans Act 1918. And today basically we have discussed one another thing, that is loans at advance, that is Section 5B, clear. Basically which is tell that acceptance of deposit basically may be for the lending or for the investment, clear. This question basically it is for your purpose. So please tell fast answer in the comment section or tomorrow before the class. Clear? What is the answer of this question? Clear? After that, basically, we have discussed what is the difference between the safe custody and the safety locker and what are the articles. Clear? Basically, for providing nomination, basically in the safe custody and the safety locker. Clear? So in this session, basically, we have to discuss up to this much point. And tomorrow, basically, we will complete this chapter. Clear? And we'll try to discuss 7 to 10 questions in the tomorrow session of the later topic. Clear? And after that, basically, we will provide you the slides and all the recorded session basically in the group for the revision purpose. So thanks to all of you for joining this session.